there are some people in my group who seldom talk. How can I help them be heard?
The question that I have for that question is, how important is it that every single person in the group talks? Especially if, how important is it that they all talk the same amount or whatever? Is there like a rule that everybody has to have equal time? And I don't think so. I think that, you've got a variety of different personalities in the group, and you've just got some people who have more to say or less to say than others. And I've had some really quiet people in my group. And so what I've done with, and let me just talk about a guy named Rob, who was in my group years ago. And Rob, really smart guy, veterinarian, he's a bright guy, knows the Bible, but said very little in the group meetings. But when he said something, it was always like really good. So what I did with Rob is, first of all, I just would invest into Rob between the meetings. I wanted to hear more from Rob, but I didn't want to make it like a role, or, I didn't want to make it, come down hard on him or anything like that. So I would invest in Rob between the meetings, and I would say, as we'd be hanging out together or talking on the phone, is, man, you've got good things to say when you say them, and I would just love to hear more from you during the meetings. Don't have to, that's okay if you're quiet, but I would love to hear more from you because you've got some great things to say. So I think a big part of that for the leader is investing into those people a lot more. Then they feel more comfortable in talking and they feel more confident. So what I was trying to do with Rob was to build his confidence. By the way, Rob became part of my leadership team. I shared leadership with Rob later on, and he eventually became a leader of a group, even though he was kind of a quiet guy, and he led a lot differently than me because I'm a talker. So the other thing that I would do with people like Rob, to kind of get down into the nuts and bolts of things, is, the person who sits right next to you in your group will usually be the person who doesn't talk quite as much. The reason is that you're not making as much eye contact with the person sitting right next to you. So I would try to situate, if I could, I would try to situate it so that Rob was sitting across from the group from where I was sitting. And then I would try to make eye contact with Rob. And you notice after a while as you lead that when you make eye contact with a person, they're a lot more likely to speak out loud. The other thing is, if Rob wasn't talking and I just felt like, he had something to say, is I would ask him nicely. And I would say something to the effect of, hey, Rob, it looks to me like you're thinking about something. Why don't you share with the rest of the group what you're thinking? And kind of everybody in the group knows what I'm doing there. I'm trying to draw Rob out, but it would work. And the way that I knew that Rob was thinking of something is I was watching his body language. So if I noticed that Rob starts, doing this, stroking his chin, he's probably thinking. Or if he would, even more, if he leaned forward in his chair. And, then I know, well, he's got something to say and he's thinking about talking, but he's just not quite ready yet. So I would use those indicators to kind of help draw Rob out and talk. And like I said, it worked for Rob. I didn't make him feel uncomfortable or like he had to talk, but he was able to talk and he felt invited to do so.